Imagine an NBA player, 6'3", 6'4" guard, 17 points and 6 assists a game. Pretty decent shooter, way above average. Actually, with a 41.6% clip from beyond the arc this season. Pretty sure I can think of more than a couple of contending teams who can use a perimeter threat like that. Until I say that this player is D'Angelo Russell. Suddenly, no one's interested. The Lakers have been dead set on trading this man off in recent weeks, but no one wants a piece of it. Just listen to the Hawks fans letting D'Lo know how they feel.
We don't want you! We don't want you! We don't want you!
Rob Pelinka was literally reported to be stuck in call the other day discussing trades, but nothing's really happened so far. And we know D'Lo was the subject of a lot of those calls. So we gotta take a look, man, and ask, why does nobody in the league want D'Angelo Russell? Well, first, let me give you a little background on how we got here. The Lakers got D'Angelo Russell back from the Timberwolves last season in the Russell-Westbrook trade, alongside Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley. His first tenure with LA didn't exactly go to plan. After getting drafted second overall, he had some good moments, but it'll be remembered for him snitching on Swaggy P. Magic pretty much calling him a crappy leader. And, well, this.
We're on the same page. It had nothing to do with Julius. Look at D'Angelo.
It's been a pretty wild ride for Russell ever since, though. He became a one-time All-Star and led that ragtag 2019 Nets team to the playoffs. He got traded for Kevin Durant, kinda, and got traded for Andrew Wiggins, which is how he got to Minnesota in the first place. This man has been moved like prime Ish Smith. If you know, you know. And here lies the first problem. D'Angelo Russell is viewed more as a trade piece rather than a player who can contribute to winning basketball. Let me show you what I mean. He did end up on an All-Star for Brooklyn, but he was never really gonna be that guy that's gonna be making them into contenders. But he could be the piece to get them that guy, especially then that he was already an All-Star. Not to mention, he got a pretty decent-sized contract. So they got rid via sign and trade for KD, and he ended up in Golden State to be Steph Curry's new dance partner. Until he wasn't. The year he got to Golden State was that one year when they lost about 100 games and had a mini rebuild. So, of course, he was shipped. It was never really gonna work out with him and Steph together on the court, with Klay Thompson having to go and slide over to the 3. So they traded him to get a better fit in Andrew Wiggins. It looked like he found a new home in Minnesota alongside his good friend Karl Anthony Towns. Heck, they were talking about maybe getting Devin Booker to get a trio going. Yeah, that didn't really happen. And the Timberwolves stayed pretty mediocre. They were more than happy to get rid of his contract when the Lakers came calling. And they were getting better fits and lower maintenance guys like Mike Conley and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. See the pattern? He is always in consistent trade talks. He's never really found a home so far in the league. In a weird way, his All-Star selection in 2019 caused this negative notion for D'Lo. His value significantly increased because of it, and he never really seemed like a good fit for any of the teams he played for. High value plus not a good fit? Perfect combination for a perpetual trade piece. And you know what? Every team that traded D'Lo, well, got better than when he was there. He was shipped from the Lakers for Brook Lopez and a first-round pickup who became Kyle Kuzma, who was a significant rotation player for the Lakers in the bubble championship year. The Nets, obviously, they got Kevin Durant, and then Kyrie and Harden. Now, sure, they ultimately did disappoint, but don't forget that they were dominating the Bucks before Harden and Kyrie went down. Even then, they were literally an inch away from ending the Bucks' championship run. Golden State was where it was really obvious, man. The Warriors dynasty looked like it was finally over, and the guy they got for him, Wiggins, was one of the biggest disappointments in recent NBA history. A few months later, this man, who was losing to the bust allegation, somehow turned into an actual all-star starter and one of the best two-way players in the league. Golden State wins another chip, and Curry finally gets his Finals MVP. And now, even the damn Timberwolves. These guys were getting clowned last season for sanctioning what looked like one of the worst trades in history, shipping a boatload of assets for Rudy Gobert, and still missing the playoffs. Now that they got a full season without D'Lo, and please keep in mind, these guys have been the definition of mid ever since the Garnett days. The Timberwolves are currently tied for the 1 seed in the West. It just doesn't look good for D'Lo when you look at teams that shipped him off. If you're a GM and you look at this trend, it's just not flattering for Russell. Every single team that got rid of him got better, while he, if we're being honest, never really reached that 2019 All-Star form ever since. And that's really another pretty obvious thing that detracts teams from him. Let's get one thing straight. D'Angelo Russell is a good player, of course, but there are some problems that are just too glaring to ignore. For one, his streaky shooting. It's just too inconsistent for him to be a legitimate part of a championship roster. He can look like a left-handed Steph Curry at times. He's actually kind of been playing like that recently after the trade rumors started, averaging about 23 and dropping 30-plus points left and right. But he's also very prone to kind of going invisible on offense. For a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they're gonna need all the consistent spacing they can get. With his value, D'Lo is looked at now as their best perimeter threat, alongside Austin Reeves. As one of the top perimeter threats, he's gotta be a reliable spacer who can consistently hit the open threes that the Lakers duo are producing. If D'Lo is having a bad time and the defense realizes that they can sag off of him, Bron and AD wouldn't have the spacing they'll need, and it just collapses. Oh boy, does it collapse. We've seen it to full effect in last year's playoffs. D'Lo's production dipped and dipped as the Lakers went on their unlikely conference finals run. As the 7th seed, against the Grizzlies, he averaged about 16, 3, and 5 on okay splits of 43% from the field and 37% from 3. Against the Warriors, 14 points per game on 45% from the field, but just 31% from 3. The conference finals, though, was absolutely atrocious from Russell. In the sweep, D'Lo put up dismal numbers: 6 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds in 23 minutes, 32% from the field, and a putrid 13% from 3. He only scored a total of 25 points in the entire series. You can't be doing that kind of thing when you're one of the most important players on the team. Sure, he had a large contribution in that famous turnaround for the Lakers last season, from having a 2-8 record to reaching the conference finals. But still, all-time hot garbage performance, man. I'm sorry. That is unacceptable. His plus-minus that series was an abysmal -47. This is already pretty terrible as is, but if you consider how the Lakers lost, it becomes even worse. D'Lo and the Lakers just lost by 6, 5, 11, and then just 2 in Game 4. We can't really say, but if Russell played at least to his standards in the regular season, or even maybe just 75% of that, who knows what could have happened? At least they could have gotten maybe 1 or 2 of those close games. Imagine being AD, putting up 40 and 10 and leading a comeback against the 1 seed in Game 1, only for your starting 20 PPG shooting guard to only score 8 points on 11 shots, with a plus-minus of -25. Look at that disparity between the other starters and D'Lo, man. Not only does this show that his offense disappeared, but it also shows that he doesn't compensate for it with his defense and hustle. A guy like Austin Reeves, for example, is a very good defender, and the hustle guy, like how Alex Caruso was with the Lakers. Shots aren't falling? No worries, he's gonna defend like hell on the other end. D'Lo just doesn't do that. Man, it's not just his time in LA either. Yes, he got the Nets to the playoffs, but he had a plus-minus of -89. He was outplayed by second option Karis LeVert as they got destroyed by the Sixers. He constantly had the worst or second worst plus-minus on the team. It's pretty well fitting that he's most known for his ice in my veins celebration, when, in reality, he always ends up going ice cold in the playoffs and doesn't even defend well to make up for it. So where do we go from here? The Los Angeles Lakers are stuck trying to trade a player that nobody really wants anymore. He has really been on a tear lately, but it's not as if we haven't seen this before from him. The Nets tried, the Timberwolves tried, and the Lakers tried. place too. And he'd best do it this season. He's got an opportunity though. The Lakers aren't looking too hot right now, but if he helps turn it around and get both the Lakers and LeBron another chip, well, we'll see what happens. But guys, that's all we got for you today. What do you think though? Can D'Lo redeem himself? Should another team really trade for D'Lo? Tell us in the comment section below. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao.